we begin, first of all, I want to make sure that you understand your rights. You all have the right to remain silent, which means technically when I call your name and you come to the microphone, you don't have to make a statement. If you elect to remain silent and you have not entered a plea, I will enter a plea of not guilty for you. But again, you don't have to say anything at all. You also have a right to an attorney, which is why there's always a delay before we actually come in. We want to make sure that everyone who needs to speak with the defense attorney has that opportunity. And then you have a right to a trial. The right to a trial is important to know because maybe you spoke with the attorney or the prosecutor about your case, but until you enter a plea standing at that microphone, you still have a right to a trial. The trials are before me, which are called bench trials, unless you make a request in writing for a jury trial. Before either one of those, you will know the evidence against you. At the trial, you can cross-examine any witness that the city calls, or you can have your own witnesses appear. And if your witnesses will come based on you asking them to, we will continue your case so that we can subpoena your witnesses. And then guilty is continuing with the possibility of a trial, or it could be set for another pretrial. Guilty is where you are admitting what you're accused of, and if you do that, I could sentence you today. A sentence in a municipal court ranges from $0 to $1,000, 0 days in jail, up to 6 months in jail. That's the jurisdiction of the court. There's also a plea of no contest that's similar to a guilty plea in that we can get your case resolved. The difference is you're not stating with your own words that you're guilty, but what you are doing is not contesting the allegations against you. That means if I find you guilty, the plea cannot be used in a later proceeding against you. And then the last plea is not guilty by reason of insanity. If you choose that particular plea, we would have to stop the proceedings to see where you are and your ability to go forward. But keep in mind that plea is not available for your traffic cases. Moving to traffic cases, if you have a traffic case here today and you get points, BMV will be notified of your points. Accumulating 12 points on your license will result in your license being suspended. Driving under a 12-point suspension is a jailable offense, so just keep that in mind. Also, you must have insurance to drive. So if your ticket is marked no for insurance, you're going to be facing the possibility of a suspension from the BMV. But what I normally do is give you up to 72 hours to come back with your insurance. You do that, I'll update the file. That way you will avoid that suspension. I also give you 72 hours to take care of your fines and costs. Fines range between $0 to $1,000. The possible jail time is 0 to 6 months in jail in this particular court. If we resolve your case and there's fines imposed, what you would have to do is go to the clerk's office, take care of that. But if you can't take care of it today, within 72 hours, you can ask for a payment plan. The reason I give you 72 hours is so that you can come back with some type of down payment, and then we will extend the payment plan out. Yeah, all right, if you're here for a felony charge, you have a right to an attorney, you have a right to know the charges against you, and you have a right to what's called a probable cause hearing. That's a hearing where the city has to put on some type of evidence to indicate that a felony occurred in this city and that you're connected to it. You do not have to prove that you're guilty of it because this is a municipal court. But instead, if they make that connection, what they are saying is that this is a municipal court, this is a felony matter, and it has to be sent to the felony court. You can avoid all that by waiving that particular hearing. The one thing about waiving the hearing is that you are not admitting any guilt. You are just allowing the case to be sent to the proper court. With that being said, I will set a bond and I will set a date for you to appear down at the county. All right, if you have any additional questions, I'll answer them or the defense attorney can. Thank you. Are you two together at the ankle or anything like that? Why don't you scoot over a seat? That way, trying to give you some space there. If you want, you can scoot over one more. It's up to you, but I just want to make sure you get your space. Good morning, Ms. Ivory. All right, 19 TRD 02992, John Basie, or is it Base? Good morning, sir. Driving under suspension, 2 headlights from August 28th, 2019. You're here with your license in a better position, so we're able to amend your charge. A couple things happen when we amend your charge. Driving under suspension starts at $500. It goes as high as $1,000. 2 points on your license. Your license is suspended and you can get jail time. But what I do in this court is I allow for the amendment, taking away the points, taking away the suspension, no jail time, and I started at $500. And because your license are now in a better position, yours specifically can be amended to failing to display. It's a little different than another one, but with yours, I cut your fine in half, so you get the biggest discount. So as opposed to $500, it will be a $250 fine, and the other charge is dismissed. You understand all that stuff I just said? It was a mouthful. Yeah. All right. To the amended charge of failing to display, how do you plead? All right, I'll accept the plea with a fine of guilt. $250 plus cost. The other charge is dismissed. You just go to the clerk's office. Take care, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll do that. What I'll do is let me dip this out and I'll just start. Good question. That way we'll do it. We'll bring all the rest in. Charles Fuller. Mr. Fuller, 15 TRD 00987 is a driving under suspension and a sunscreen. And then there's a case from 2005. It looks like what the city prosecutor is going to do is dismiss that 2005 case in consideration of you getting the newer case resolved. So let me do that for you. That was driving under suspension and traffic light. So that was from 2005, and there's a 2013. The city was going to dismiss the court cost only. Is that your understanding on that one? All right, you have to say yes or no. All right, thank you, sir. All right, and so we're dealing with the last one, 15 TRD 00987, which is driving under suspension, amended to failing to display. Again, you're not getting any points or those higher fines, and it looks like you were going to enter a plea to that as well as a tent violation. Is that your understanding? All right, thank you, sir. To failing to display your license, how do you plead? All right. I'll accept the plea with a fine of guilt as opposed to $500. It'll be $250 plus cost. To the sunscreen, how do you plead? All right, that's normally a $200 fine. I'll cut that in half. It'll be $100 plus cost. And you just go to the clerk's window. Take care, sir. Yes, it is. I just caught that. Savelle Wagner, 15 TRD 01599. Looks like it was a license issue and a stoplight. Looks like your license are in a better position in that particular case, so we can amend it to failing to disinformation, dismiss the other charge, and you just go to the clerk's office. Take care, sir. You're right. Catch them all. Monique Holmes Edwards, 20 TRD 00814. This was not having your license on your person. You did have insurance and there was a headlight issue. Did you want to resolve your case today? All right. Not having your lights on you or your license won't result in any points, neither will the headlight. So what I can do is, if you want to resolve the case today, just deal with the headlight issue, dismiss the license. How do you plead to the headlight? All right. It's normally a $150 fine. I'm gonna take off $100. So it'll be $50 plus cost, and the other charge is dismissed. You just go to the clerk's office, all right? Take care. Tristan, is it Truitt? He's on the next match. Okay, so everybody else, have you all? Did you just come in, young lady? What's your name? All right. Ms. Mahan, come on up. Your case is 18 TRD 01343, driving under suspension and a tail light on June 5th of 2018. And then there's November 23rd, 2018, driving without a license and a headlight. It looks like what the city has done is agreed to get your first case, the 18 TRD 01343, resolved as a plea to the lights and the amended charge of failing to display your license, keeping you from getting any points, and the lower fine. How do you plead to that charge? All right, I'll accept the plea with a fine of guilt to $250. The other case in its entirety will be dismissed, all right? So you don't do anything on that. And you just go to the clerk's office. Take care. Everybody else is new? All right. You do not have to enter a plea. Also, if you feel your case is one where you need to speak with the defense attorney, Mr. Humphrey, and if you haven't had that opportunity, we'll give you a chance to speak with him. Have you spoken with those guys in the back? Okay, because what I can do, does anyone want to speak with the attorney about your case? All right, because what I will do next time is make sure we clear the front first. That way, whoever needs to speak with you can sit there. All right, so those are your rights, and then here are the pleas you can enter. The first plea is not guilty. When I call your name, you come to the microphone. Once I tell you what's going on, if you want to enter a plea of not guilty, that's definitely your option. What we would do is set this for a pretrial or possibly a trial. You can also enter a plea of guilty where you are admitting what you're accused of. A guilty plea in a municipal court subjects you to up to a $1,000 fine. It could be from between $0 to $1,000. Jail time could be 0 days in jail, up to 6 months in jail. That's on a guilty plea or a guilty finding. There's also a plea of no contest. That's similar to guilty. The difference is you're not stating with your own words that I'm guilty. Instead, you're not contesting the allegations. That means the plea cannot be used against you in any other proceeding. And then there's a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. If you choose that particular plea, we would have to stop these proceedings to see where you are in your ability to go forward, but that does not apply to the traffic cases. Moving to your traffic cases, if you resolve a traffic case here today and if you get points, the BMV is going to be notified because they're going to get a copy of the journal entry. If you accumulate 12 points on your license will be suspended, and driving under a 12-point suspension is a jailable offense, so be aware of that. Also, you must have insurance to drive. So if your ticket is marked no, you're going to get a suspension. But what I do is give you 72 hours to do 2 things. 1, come back with insurance, or 2, set up a payment plan. Because remember, I said the fines could be as high as $1,000. If you can't handle that today, you come back within 72 hours, make some type of down payment, and I will extend your balance out on a payment plan. Also, with the license, just so you know, if it's driving under suspension, those penalties have gotten very high in this particular county. You get 2 points on your license gets suspended for an additional period of time, and you could get jail time, and then the fines range anywhere between $500 to $1,000. What I do in this court is if you come back with your license, I start at the $500 and go backwards. I'll cut that in half or do some other type of discount based on the effort you put forth to get your license. I don't give you any points. I don't resuspend your license, and I don't give you any jail time for the driving under suspension. So those are the things you need to know prior to me calling your name. If you have any additional questions, we'll do our best either through the attorney or the prosecutor. All right, Tristan Truitt, come on up. 20 TRD 01168 is a traffic control device, and it looks like this allegedly occurred March 12th, 2020. You spoke with the city prosecutor, and she's agreed to dismiss the charge. Is that your understanding? All right, so I'll mark for the record that it has been dismissed, and you're free to go. Take care, sir. Roderick Price. Mr. Price, 9 TRD 00341, driving under suspension, signals, and a seatbelt. It looks like the way your case is resolved is that we're able to amend it to the charge of failing to display, which kicks in all those discounts and lesser charges or lesser penalties. And the rest of the charges on there, which is the signal and the seatbelt, they're going to be dismissed. Is that your understanding? How do you plead to failing to display your license? All right, I'll accept the plea with the fine of guilt. As opposed to that $500 fine, I cut it in half, so it's $250 plus costs. If you need time to pay, we'll work with you. They'll give you the details, right? Take care, sir. Tiandre Bell, 19 TRD 00361, driving under suspension and expired license plate sticker. January 30th. Looks like the same situation. The city is going to amend it to the failing to display to keep you from getting those points and those penalties. And the other charge is going to be dismissed. Is that your understanding? How do you plead to the charge? All right, I'll accept the plea with the fine of guilt. It's $250 plus cost. The other charge is dismissed, and if you need time to pay, we'll work with you, all right? Take care, sir. Hassan Muhammad, 17 TRD 02284, driving in suspension and a speeding. And this was back in 2017. The speeding is going to be dismissed by the city, and you are going to plead to that amended charge of failing to display. Is that your understanding? Yes. All right. So how do you plead to that charge? I'll accept the plea with a finding of guilt, $250 plus costs. The other charge will be dismissed, which is the speeding. You just go to the clerk's office. All right. You can only ask, lead them. You only lead them to how it should be handled. Makes sense, though. That's why we have this. Leonard Robertson, are you ready? Are you ready? You want to?
Be ready in a second.
All right. Yeah, the other one. The challenge that we have in that particular situation is that he feels the need to get all of it. Because otherwise he can stay a seat back. Because I don't want Zach to feel he has to do that. So maybe, and I understand the sensitivity of the charge, so it may have something to do with it. Good morning. So is that it for the document? That's what I'm saying. But I will say I like the whole idea of 6 and 6. That was cool. That worked out. Because I don't mind rereading the rights. That's easy. Miss Ivory, we can do your stuff on the record sooner than later if you want.
No,
I'm just saying, why not?
2018.
Okay.
Already suffered some level of penalty. I don't know what the other case is.
Yes. We can take our time. I mean, I'll just stay here.
Okay.
We're doing good with time.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Robertson. I have two cases. 17 CRB 00520 is an allegation of misuse of a 911 system. You're going to maintain not guilty on that. And they claim that on May 6, 2017, you called 911 multiple times for no.
17, I think that was about my kid. And my baby mama had took my child away from me, and I called and they was supposed to give my kid back. I had full custody of my child, and she didn't, you know what I'm saying? And then she took him and wouldn't give him back to me. That's why I called him.
Well, let me ask you this.
They still ain't giving my son back.
How long have you been in jail on this right now? How long have you been sitting downstairs?
I've been here, but like 2, 3 days.
All right. So what's going to happen is we're going to maintain not guilty. And Mr. Humphrey's a good attorney. Once we come back to this case, he'll take all that into consideration. The fact that you've been downstairs for 3 days, the fact that this is 3 years old, and he may get it resolved in a good way for you. So I'm going to just set that date out for May 18th at 9:30. If something comes up and you're not available, we'll find out and we won't hold that against you, but we at least have a court date on that. And then we have the charge that's the one subject to the current arrest, it looks like.
I'm a good person, man.
Well, give me a chance to tell you where we are here.
My advice, don't say anything about this case. Everything's being recorded. Nothing you can say in here is going to help you when you get downtown.
Right. So let me, and I know Mr. Humphrey explained it to me. So this is 20 CRA 00302. So what he's saying is basically, as I mentioned, my duty at this point is to get the case from here to the other court, and everything you say now on the record is being recorded. And any good attorney may not want you to say anything at all because they may want to wait till they get everything. So give the attorney a chance to work on your behalf. So what I have here is a charge of aggravated murder. And what the complaint states is that on or about March 4th, 2020, you did purposely cause the death of Andre Pritchett at a specific place on Euclid Avenue while committing an aggravated robbery and fleeing immediately thereafter. The aggravated murder is a violation of 2903.01B2A34. Yeah, I'll say it again. I'm quite sure Mr. Humphrey read it to you, but it specifically says on or about March 4th, you did purposely cause the death of Andre Pritchett at a specific residence or address on Euclid Avenue while committing an aggravated robbery and fleeing immediately after. That's the complaint. The aggravated murder has the possible penalty of life in prison and or the death sentence. The maximum fine would be up to a $100,000 fine. Mr. Humphrey, on behalf of Mr. Robertson.
Right, Your Honor, we've had the opportunity to talk over this case with Mr. Robertson, with the brief information we had. At this time, he maintains his absolute innocence. We would waive the preliminary hearing acknowledging this case does need to go downtown. And we would have to be heard on bond here.
All right, so I'm going to set the March 30th, requesting a $1 million bond at this point, counsel.
Your Honor, I did have the opportunity to talk to Mr. Robertson about his ability to pay $1 million bond. Your Honor, quite frankly, I don't know that any bond is set.
From here to the county, the judge that's going to have the case could reduce it if they see fit. All right. You got this, gentleman.
Hey, charge me to be something to take my whole life away. I didn't do it.
Only because you can have a seat, sir. Good luck. Miss Singleton, come on up. So I had to read the rights too. Miss Singleton, you're just coming. You can also enter a plea of guilty to the charges, and if you do that, that means you're facing up to a $1,000 fine, up to 6 months in jail. That's the most I can do in this court, so I'll just give you the maximum, even though your situation doesn't normally warrant that. You can also enter a plea of no contest. That's similar to a guilty plea, but the difference is you're not stating I'm guilty. Instead, you're saying I'm not contesting what they're claiming occurred. That just simply means the plea cannot be used against you in a later proceeding. That's the benefit of that. And then there's a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. If you choose that plea, you have to stop these proceedings to see where you are to make sure you can go forward with your case. All right. Speaking to your moving violations or your traffic case, I'm going to get very specific because yours is one upon which if you were going to get points, the BMV would be notified, but it looks like you're going to get it resolved without that. And if the ticket said no for insurance, the BMV is going to ask for insurance. Now, I do see that your ticket is marked no. Do you have insurance to drive? All right, do you have it on you now? All right, so I can give you time to look for it and you can take it to the clerks, but the way this is marked, either you will show it to me or you'll show it to the BMV when they send you a letter and threaten to suspend you. So it's up to you. But what the city is doing in 19 TRD 02914 is dismissing your case at court cost only. Is that your understanding? All right, so after all that stuff I just said, to make sure you understood it, it's being dismissed and all you're gonna owe is court costs. But keep in mind, come back with that insurance or show it to the clerk's office before you leave so that you don't have to worry about the BMV. Any questions? I said a lot, so you got it all? All right, you take care. All right, Mr. Derek Jacobs. All right, Mr. Jacobs, let me deal with the cases that are misdemeanors. Is the new seatbelt? No, they're all separate, correct? All right. And we're doing not guilties on all the misdemeanors?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, so just so you know, I'm going to set your court date on those for May 14th at 9:30. Okay. The first one I have is 19 TRD 00821, which is a seatbelt violation when you were at Euclid and Wymore. You were a passenger in the vehicle. How long were you in jail this time?
Since last Friday.
So we'll plead not guilty on all these cases that are misdemeanors. Pre-trial for May 14th. And we'll give you a $5,000 personal bond. I think I need Robertson's case back. So I can put the bond in there on that misdemeanor. Where's Robinson? Oh, you got it? Cool. Yeah, I'll do it real quick. Thanks. And then the last one, 17 TRD 01401, driving under suspension, failing to yield the right of way, child restraint, seatbelt passenger in a seatbelt from June 2nd, 2017. Again, maintaining not guilty at this time, resetting for May 14th. So try not to forget your May 14th. We're going to put that because that way we don't have to issue a warrant or anything like that.
Okay.
But I know sometimes it's hard to remember all that stuff when you have other things going on. All right. All right, and then we have 20 CRA 00299. That is a felony charge of aggravated robbery. What that complaint is alleging is that on or about January 1st, 2020, in the city of East Cleveland, you did, in attempting to commit a theft offense or fleeing immediately after, inflict physical harm on another, specifically Tierra Palmer, was held down and struck multiple times while another female took approximately $100 from her pocket. They've charged that as an aggravated robbery in violation of 2911.01A1, a felony of the first degree, where you're looking at the possibility of 3 to 11 years in prison, and the maximum fine would be up to a $25,000 fine. You spoke with the defense attorney, correct?
Yes.
All right. So Humphrey?
Your Honor, at this time, I want to plead not guilty, waive the preliminary hearing, and would request to be heard on time.
All right, so I'm going to set your next court date for March 30th, which is Monday, 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45. And Detective, are you going to speak on the
Your
bond?
Honor, the detective requested 50,000 cash surety, but we don't have a problem.
All right, counsel?
Your Honor, there's no allegation that a weapon was used. I anticipate this being resolved downtown to a lower level felony based off of my conversations with my client. Worst case scenario, based off of all of that, we'd ask this court to consider a 10% bond.
Any objection to that, Detective? Kind of low, huh? You wanted low, but that's low.
Just go ahead.
You say let him walk out. Now you understand.
No objection.
All right. You understand, Mr. Jacobs, whenever I set the bond,
It was like an aggravated, what they tried to hit me with aggravated burglary because I walked in the house. So I fought that all the way through though. It got dismissed January 7th.
okay.
Yeah, I don't run none of that.
All right.
Yeah.
So Detective, we'll go ahead with the,
Yeah, I know Derek, and that's fine.
all right. All right, Mr. Jacobs, it'll be 10,000, 10%. Last thing I will say, whenever I hear a detective, that's a good thing. I mean, to me, when you have these charges and the stuff you dealt with before, it's like, okay, let me start all over again. Because I got somebody who's dealt with me by jail, all right?
I will.
All right. Look, sir, you take care. You can go.
Thanks, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Take care. Nice to meet you. Take care. Oh, one sec.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But I'm just saying, it's one
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they call.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. All right,
But
take care.
listen, if you have any information, I'll give me and I'll look.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Which one? This is the guy. The one we never did. We don't go on the record. We didn't go on the record and take his money. No, but I didn't. Right. I just don't understand. I just don't know. Is it forfeit? Anyhow. Yeah. I wish I'd have known had that information, man. At least on this too. Usually bringing all the cases. I'm sorry. Just sign this. Right. Who's the gentleman right here? But how many others do we have? So I could probably just. Everything was sold July 30th, and number 10 says July 30th or whenever the court deems reasonable, whichever is the soonest. So really, we could take it even out further if we needed to.
Yeah.
So that helps, you know. Doesn't help. Well, it kind of helps you, doesn't help you. It's like I know you guys, you know, you love that.
It's not
Right.
a real thing.
Right. It's always a reason. Michael Deloach, come on up, sir. 2 cases and regional rights, right? And you'd have to know what he says. Yeah, like it doesn't spell it out. Okay. Now what I have. Sorry. Counsel.
Your Honor, was amended to disorderly conduct.
Is that what this says? Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you.
because of what he just said.
Take care. Be careful.
Your Honor, there is one more case that attorney's client just arrived a couple of minutes ago.
Okay.
He may be able to resolve this.
And so, Ms. Ivory, do we need Mr. Humphrey for the probation? So what we've done is pretty much canceled the probation docket, but for cases he's going to read on the record for various things. So you won't have, unless you want to defend the record, you won't have a person in here to defend, but you can object to whatever she's saying, you know, if you just want to do it, you know, just for practice. But I know you don't need that practice. So otherwise, I think we're going to do those. You're going to go get the files with Mr. Hicks in a minute, and we'll do them now. So we don't even have an afternoon docket as my gift to you for being such a trooper for coming in, you know. Marlene called me Monday morning, just wanted to know what we were going to do. And what I did for her, I know Robertson being an aggravated murder was different, but we weren't allowing anybody to come up and sit next to her. You know, they had to stand in that front row, but I could tell he just wanted to keep talking to you about it. So I appreciate you giving him that time.
You know, anyone that was put on the docket that was not put on their probation, or those, I don't know if people called them or sent anything to them not come.
Do we have,
So
do you
there
know
may
what?
be some of those showing up this afternoon.
So how will we find out if we run a docket? Is that going to show up?
Well, the clerk's office would know
So
whether
run
or
the
not they
docket.
called in.
No, but to find out who's on the
I
docket,
know
just
who's
run
on
a
the
docket.
docket. Probation cases are on the docket.
Okay.
But
What about the ones that are not probation? How can we find out which
Like-
one's on the docket?
like Tiaja Stewart was set by the court because she showed up last month and the bailiffs told her to come back this month.
Okay.
Cockwell was, she looked up, and that's what they told her to come back today.
What type of cases are those? Do you know?
130, she's probation, and Cockwell was also assigned by the clerk's office.
So basically, I'm just trying to use some consideration of Mr. Humphrey. So I'm hoping that we, between the two of you, we can find out who's on the docket, what type of case it is, and does he have to stay here for another
Well,
10 hours for 3 cases that's going to be either
okay, but
postponed.
what I'm saying, those weren't set by the.
I'm just saying, let's find out where they are. Let's look at them. I'm just
They
saying,
should be with the probation case.
Yeah, I just wanna see him.
Docket.
let's analyze them, see if he needs to be here or not. That's all. So that way we can get you out the way. We don't have to have him sitting around for 3 cases.
That's the case I'm telling you about. She kicked off the program and just fine. So that thing will be over.
Which one is Stewart?
What I'm saying about.
But she can't do it if I said that. So Stewart's gonna be here this afternoon.
She's supposed to dial on the phone. So I know she will.
So what I'll do is we can, if that's the only one, I'll hear her case, I'll hear her argument, then I'll reset it on the day that he's here, rather than have him sit around till 1:30 to hear one case. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. And we just reset it. If she posted a bond, and we'll set it in the morning time.
Hey, Judge, they're gonna have to.
So we set these trials.
Yeah, that's why I asked you what's on the docket this afternoon. We have trials, that's different.
Yeah.
Let's analyze, are they going forward? Do we have victims? I'm just saying, let's all work together.
I don't think Michael Ray's going to purchase out.
Can we talk to Wendy and tell them because the amnesty, they stacking this docket, they gotta spread that stuff out a little bit. They can't put everybody. I know it's just traffic, but
Which one?
amnesty.
Which docket? What, this morning?
Any of them. I mean, they can't just put a stack of. You know what I'm saying?
Talked about that. They supposed to put something on the board and mark it off. How many cases they put it? They supposed to put
That's
a board on.
crazy. They just stick it every amnesty on one docket.
Did you mention it to her? What did she say?
I ain't
Oh.
Hey,
The board got to go, Judge. Sorry.
Good. That would be an easy one to correct.
But you
Yeah, I just want to find out what's happening this afternoon.
get that back to Don and tell her to get a copy to the bills.
The dude out there.
So what other trials do we have?
Michael Ray, he's probably gonna go for it. And I don't know about Precious out.
Oh wait, Warford.
Yeah.
Warford. No, Warford. Hold on.
Other ones that agreeing to people like
Right,
they
it's
should be
first year.
dismissals. The people are attorney.
We just need ones out there.
Let's see what they start.
Okay.
But
You need your thing.
what? No. Because I'm not making a decision on anything.
Mark had to be in court this morning,
Okay.
so I'll read off his recommendations.
So, couple things. I guess we have one more case that Heather's trying to work out.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to figure out what we have for Zach. Sandra said there's a woman that you're kicking off, want to remove from the cycle breaker program. A Tara or something like that.
Tiaja Stewart,
Yeah, you want to remove.
and she had complied with everything. No, she hadn't. She didn't finish. You extended her to finish first.
Okay.
She didn't.
All right.
So,
And then.
and that's why I'm leaving it to your decision because you gave her the extension, but she still didn't do anything. And it's like 3 years old.
Should have gotten it all done in the last 2 weeks, but this outbreak,
That's right.
No, she could have got it done 3 years ago before the outbreak.
she planned to do.
But
it
you see his argument. She called him and said, "I'm about to get everything done," and all of a sudden, bam.
When actually she
Everything
admitted to me,
changed.
the only reason she came up here because it was time to get